Namaste. Welcome to Nepal's Top 7 Debaters 2015, produced by Leadership Academy. This is the final round in the Category 6, Bachelor Level English Language. And the topic for today's final round is Humanitarian Assistance or Human Security. Let me now introduce our panel of judges for today's final round. Our first judge is Mr. SANTOSH SHAH. He is the president of today's Youth Asia. Our second judge is RUBEN F. Del Prado. He is the head of UNAIDS Nepal. Our third judge is Mr. TRISTRAM. He is the Public Affairs Officer at US Embassy, Nepal. Our finalists in Category 6, Bachelor Level English Language are Nancy BOGATI, studying in Bachelor Level in Advanced College of Engineering, and SADIKCHYA Singh, studying in Bachelor Level in Fergusson College. Congratulations to both the finalists for making it to the final round of this national debate competition. We will now begin with the debate. Let us invite the first debater, Nancy BOGATI. She will be speaking for the motion.
Let us first start with the definition. Human security in its simplest form is freedom from violence. But with the time, human security keeps changing, more things get added to it. When can you really say that you're secure? It's an abstract concept like love or peace. You need political stability, you need financial security, you need so many kinds of security to say that you are perfectly secure. And in fact, the most interesting and the most ironic thing that I found from my research was that even the UN and the US aid agency claim that to be perfectly secure, you would actually need access to humanitarian assistance. Human security itself claims that you need humanitarian assistance in order to be secure. Humanitarian assistance, on the other hand, is all about helping people. It's about alleviating your suffering. It's about alleviating poverty. It's about helping people. And it's about ensuring human security. So you see, human security on one hand calls for humanitarian assistance, while humanitarian assistance, on the other hand, ensures human security. So what do you think is more important, human security or humanitarian assistance? It's actually pretty funny. If you go back in time to the World War II, then you can see the most successful ODA, or Official Development Assistance, was the Marshall Plan. It was US government's initiative to help Western Europe develop. It was a plan that took place from 1948 to 1952. And during that time, Western Europe showed the most substantial growth in all economic sector, agriculture sector. The industrial sector increased its growth by 35%. It was such an unprecedented growth that even today, the most successful ODA is claimed to be the Marshall Plan. If you even look at Japan, after the Cold War, it was devastated. It was in ruins. But what happened is the UN and the US government gave them humanitarian assistance. And look at Japan now. It is so secure. Even after earthquakes, you see that it has perfect human security. And what happened is all of it leads back to that time when humanitarian assistance was given. What is happening is all of us want fried chicken. We want spicy chicken, we want crispy chicken, but no one is focusing on the poultry farming. No one is focusing on the people who actually feed the chicken and focus on the poultry. So what we're doing is everybody wants chicken, fried chicken, good chicken, but no one is focusing on the poultry farming. So what we want is human security, but what we do not realize is to achieve human security, we need humanitarian assistance.
To present her views against the motion, let us now invite SADIKCHYA Singh.
Well, I tried, but I failed to understand why my opponent has been giving more importance to a short-term, ineffective assistance over a long-term, comprehensive effort that seeks to protect every individual from every threat there is. What I find rather amusing is that my opponent kept stressing that humanitarian assistance helps to alleviate suffering, helps to alleviate poverty. But considering the application, humanitarian assistance, its allocation and effectiveness hinges primarily on political factors rather than focusing on the needs of the communities. So, for instance, the effectiveness of aid has various political hurdles when it reaches a potential recipient, the potential recipient may be located within a zone of conflict, or maybe in areas with poor infrastructure. So practically and rationally speaking, aid reaches only to those areas that are politically accessible. Let us take example for Syria that matter. In Syria, where the ongoing civil war has killed more than 260,000 people and has displaced almost half of the population there. And even during these crucial times, the Syrian communities receive very, very little humanitarian assistance. Why? Political instability. So you see, humanitarian aid hinges on political factors rather than catering to the public who needs it the most. Also, my opponent kept stressing that we need an approach that focuses on people. She also cited the example of poultry farming. But, well, let me tell you that humanitarian assistance is that approach, is that system that focuses on people. She told me that USAID has been telling that humanitarian assistance is the essence. It ensures human security. But I had an opportunity to participate in this program, media sensitization, on post-earthquake green recovery and reconstruction, where Bronwyn Lelwyn, who is the environment team leader at USAID, she herself explained that donor countries are temporary bodies. They come and they go. But people, the local people, are the true leading force because they are the custodian of knowledge and skills. Well, on the other hand, human security, with its broader scope projects, has holistically been addressing threats under different areas, be it food, economic, health, personal, community, environmental, and even political. To name a few, for example, the projects such as strengthening of health sector in Thailand, empowering people exposed to economic downturns in Pakistan, addressing issues of violence and trafficking in Central America. So you see, all these projects are not based on any ideology. These are based on actual needs, capabilities, and vulnerabilities of the people. So now I would want to ask my opponent, is that possible with humanitarian aid?
My opponent gave a lot of points on how humanitarian assistance is politicized and it's not effective, and I agree. Humanitarian assistance is not really in its best form, and that is exactly why I say that humanitarian assistance is where we should be focusing, because it is something that will ensure human security. Now let me give you an example. There's an earthquake in Haiti, there's an earthquake in Nepal, there's an earthquake in Japan, but who goes there when the people are in need? Who ensures their security? Who ensures they have food? Who ensures they have shelter? Who ensures that they are safe? It is a humanitarian assistance from the organizations like USAID, like the UN, that go there and ensure that they are safe. It is them that go there and help them, train them, and make them capable enough to survive and be safe. Now, when like my opponent friend said, that human security is very important. So obviously, when the earthquake strikes and there are needs of early detection warning systems, so who develops it? Humanitarian assistance. Humanitarians, like companies like USAID, they are the ones who invest in early warning detection systems. Who goes to the places that are more earthquake prone? The humanitarian. They go there and they train the people so they are more resilient, so that if the earthquake strikes, they can be more ready and more capable. So it is actually very funny because everybody is focusing on human security, but the humanitarian assistance is what leads to human security.
To my opponent who feels that humanitarian assistance ensured human security in Haiti earthquake, she used this as an example, what would you say with its failure? As reported by the American Life show, in Haiti there are 1,000 NGOs promoting humanitarian assistance, and yet in 50 years the country gets poorer day by day. And today the residents wish the workers would just leave them alone. And actually, my opponent made it easier for me to describe more about human security because she actually pointed out that early detection mechanism, it's actually human security. Human security is that system that ensures an early warning mechanism that not only helps to mitigate the current threats, but also prevent the occurrence of future threats. Well, I recently read an article on humanitarian experts and humanitarian aid, where Jennifer Linning and Van Ruben, both humanitarian experts, themselves recognize the limitations of humanitarian aid. While Van Ruben questioned the long-term sustainability of humanitarian assistance, Jennifer Linning quoted, "Humanitarian communities do not work well when it enters a deeply complicated society." So humanitarian assistance, you see, has its limitations. So I find it very basis for my opponent to prioritize a system whose leaders themselves deem it ineffective.
May I request the judges for the comments?
Nancy and SADIKCHYA, you are much better in the competition round, I must say. Like Nancy, you're very confused with the topic and you're giving us a lot of your opinion rather than convincing why humanitarian assistance is necessary. Both are necessary, but why is humanitarian assistance more important? I think you're not debating against each other, you're trying to make your case better. SADIKCHYA, you definitely have more content and better body language, but your points are also very scattered. When you put out a debate, it should be like a movie. There should be a flow. You should make a start and end. Your topic, as we explained previously, is you're not fighting against each other necessarily. It's a very tricky subject, but you're making your case stronger. And I think in the second round, we would want to hear more about, for Nancy, why is humanitarian assistance more important? And for SADIKCHYA, why is human security more important? And obviously we'll counter each other, but keeping the same context in mind. So I hope in the second round you'll give us more of that. All the best.
You guys have a very tough time because in this debate there are two areas that are very dependent on each other. One is dependent on the other. So if you are going to make an argument for one, you have to be very, very precise why it is more important. And I'm really supporting him. Because it is not really like it's a black or white. There's a continuum of the two. So in your next round, please make this strong argument why your area, be it humanitarian assistance, is more important than the other. It's not easy.
I think you need to debate each other, not the topic. I think that you have both brought to the table some interesting arguments, but they're not connecting, and maybe go back and forth a bit more. Something we like to say in the US, it doesn't matter, and this is irrespective of what you're eating, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Whether the initials are USAID or KFC, the lunch is not free. So that was an interesting point, but maybe develop that a bit more. In terms of presentation and style, I would say to Nancy, maybe bring your volume up a little bit and maybe try to speak in more complete sentences rather than breaking off partway through in a sentence. In terms of SADIKCHYA, maybe lower your volume a little bit. You're very confident, and it's wonderful to see a confident young woman, but compared to I think your volume was excellent. Maybe bring it up a bit. I think the two of you need to find a midpoint. Not too loud, not too soft. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing more in the second half.
We will now begin with the rebuttal round. I'd like to call Nancy BOGATI to speak for the motion.
My opponent friend mentioned about Syria and about Haiti and how humanitarian assistance was not effective. But what about the millions of lives that actually were saved because of humanitarian assistance? Just because there is a possibility that it could not be as successful as we want, do we give up before you even try? Are you trying to say that those lives that were saved were insignificant? Are you trying to say that those fathers and mothers and children and sons that were saved were not to be saved because humanitarian assistance is not even important because it could fail? Are we not going to try because we are so afraid? Aren't we humans all about empathy? Isn't that our greatest strength? We're here to help each other. We're social animals. If we don't help each other when we are in need, just because we're afraid that we might fail, then what's the use? We are all so afraid about our own security. In the name of national security, people are building bombs, people are investing so much on guns and military weapons, but what about assistance? Imagine a world where ISIS was not a terrorist group. Imagine a world where ISIS was actually helping flood victims and earthquake victims in countries like Nepal and Haiti. Imagine a world where North Korea was not building bombs or guns. It was not afraid of security reasons. Imagine a world where North Korea was instead helping people in Haiti and Syria. Because that is the kind of world we should be living in, where we help each other, where we embrace our humanity. And that is the kind of world I would like to live in. Because when the earthquake struck Nepal, and I was in the tent, it was humanitarian assistance that helped me survive. It was humanitarian assistance that gave me food, that gave me shelter. And I would like, if I could, then I would like to help other people get that food and shelter and humanitarian assistance.
Now I'd like to call SADIKCHYA Singh to speak against emotion.
You see, when you catch a disease, you do get assistance, but at a huge cost. So why wait for the assistance when you can prevent the disease beforehand? Similar is the condition of human security and humanitarian assistance. While humanitarian assistance provides protection to people during disasters, as my opponent said, human security empowers people to protect themselves if such crisis were to happen. So my dear friend, when you talked about the earthquake, the Gorkha earthquake, if you had received human security, if you were empowered, you would not have needed humanitarian assistance. Also, my opponent, I think it's worth reminding my opponent who feels human security calls for humanitarian assistance. Well, human security comes first. If there is security, if there is proper safety and security, there would be little or no need of humanitarian assistance. Also, in the first round, my opponent said that human security is a very vague term. It's very difficult to know when a person is secure. And she pointed out that there should be political stability and financial security. Well, let me tell you, my friend, these are in fact the core elements of human security alone. So I'd like to reiterate the points human security has its encompasses, like the food, the health, the economic, the environment, community, political, and even personal. And my dear friend pointed out that humanitarian assistance has not only, my opponent said that we live in a world that has to help people, that has to focus on humanity. But sorry, my friend, we do not live in that ideal world. We need a system that prevents threats instead of waiting for an idealized society.
My opponent friend said that we should prevent the outcomes of where we would need humanitarian assistance. But let me ask, aren't we humans all, are we immortal? Are we so capable of even fighting natural disasters? Are we that capable? But we're just humans. Anything can happen tomorrow. Can we say for sure that tomorrow I'll still be alive? I can't, because future is unpredictable. No matter how safe you are, no matter how secure you are, tomorrow is unpredictable. The future is unknown. If a natural disaster strikes right now, then no matter how much security you have, can you see with a guarantee that you will be safe? I can give you an example of people in Nepal who were rich billionaires who lost everything in the earthquake. So what did they need then? Obviously, assistance. When everything is gone, when you're in need, what do you need then? Assistance. No one can say for sure that earthquakes can be prevented. Even a country like Japan, where earthquakes happen so much, in the 11th March 2001, when they had the 3 natural calamities at once, 11,000 people died. So where was the security then? Even a country like Japan with so much security suffers such calamities and needs assistance. So how can you say that you are invincible? We are humans. We are not invincible. We need assistance.
Today, what the world faces are threats, challenges, risks, problems that are not only complicated but correlated. Every problems we face, every solutions we make are correlated in a way that all of these can be traced back to security issues. For instance, the global threats today, the high number of Syrian immigrants, political insecurity, the Boko Haram insurgency, community insecurity, the worst drought Africa faced last year, environmental security, and even the national problems of Nepal. The Tarai agitation that has been going on for 5 months now, community insecurity, the thousands of displaced families waiting for shelter, economic insecurity. Apart today, what we need is a system that empathizes with our problems, that touches people's life, that provides solutions that are embedded in local realities, and that protects the overall survival, dignity, and livelihood of people, rather than an approach that simply reacts to our problems and sympathizes.
May I request the judges for the comments?
Once again, both very strong debaters, very good in terms of your elocution and some of the points that you made. In terms of some specific notes that I'd like to give to you, I felt like the volume was perfect for both of you. I thought you really adjusted that and did well. That it was easy to listen to both of you make your arguments. I felt like you were slightly more confident, both of you, in your presentations. There were a couple times, SADIKCHYA, where you stumbled, but I felt like you recovered very well from it. You had a few things where you went down a train of thought and then quickly readjusted and got back to your point, and that shows a lot of resilience and quick thinking on your part to focus back on your argument. Nancy, I felt like you went very emotional and you tried to appeal to our emotion rather than to reason or facts necessarily. SADIKCHYA, some of your arguments, although very, very strong, I felt need a little bit more linear narrative that you needed to make, say, okay, here's this, then this, and therefore that. So maybe in your mind, structure it as opposed to just going around it a bit. But I felt like you both finished very strong. I felt like it was a huge improvement over the first round. So thank you and really well done.
Nancy's markings in the beginning were not that good. You were stumbling. You were doing much better in the first part before the break. And then there was a shift. There was more confidence. And I have a heart-head connection. I think that emotions have an extremely important role to play in a debate. Because if you only look at facts and not at what does it do to you, how do you feel about this debate, it's just a lecture. And I'm not here for a lecture. I'm here to be moved. And I was more moved by you in the beginning, and I was more moved by you in the second. And you can see that my numbers just shifted. I work for the United Nations. And the United Nations is all about human rights and humanitarian support and security. Tomorrow, every 2 weeks, we have what's called the security management team. All the heads of UN agencies are part of the security management team. Extremely important. Then we have to provide, to assist, to facilitate, human assistance. These are not separate. And this is why I am really impressed that you guys did so well with two topics that are not opposites. They are not either or. They belong very strongly together. I enjoyed it because I saw the underdog coming up. You stumbled a little bit. You were really taken aback by her arguments. And this is what the debate is all about.
The second round was definitely much better, which means you took the judges' comments into consideration. Second round is always difficult because you have let go all the contents in the first round. So we all were very impressed there. You both have very good potential debaters. There's no doubt about that. And I want to believe that if the topic was slightly more clear, then you could have done much better even in the first round. All the best. Let's see what happens.
While the judges are finalizing their marks, I request both the finalists to come up on the stage. May I request our judge, Mr. SANTOSH, to announce the result.
I would like to announce the second winner of Nepal's Top 7 Debaters 2015, Bachelor's Level English category, as Nancy BOGATI. I would like to announce the winner of Nepal's Top 7 Debaters 2015, Category 6, English Language, Bachelor's Level, SADIKCHYA Singh.
Congratulations to the winner and runner-up in the Category 6, Bachelor Level English Language. We have come to the end of Nepal's Top 7 Debaters 2015 in the Category 6, Bachelor Level English Language. Application submissions and auditions are open now for Nepal's Top 7 Young Poets and Nepal's Top 7 Debaters 2016, Nepali language. You can call our office at 4257-250 or email us at leadershipacademyktm@gmail.com. Have a nice week. Namaste.